Good morning. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this morning. I'm going to start with a little confession. This is as much a selfish exercise as it is a sharing exercise, because I am a big believer that when you learn something, if you reteach it, it helps you internalize it even more. And so part of my reason for sharing this morning is just to drill it into my own brain. So I hope that it is helpful. We're going to talk for just a few minutes about designing your own road for success. And I am sharing this and recording it on Zoom today, and can certainly make that link available. I am also sharing it live on my team page. So if I look back and forth, please don't be freaked out. I'm just doing double duty. So first thing I wanted to share is that this morning, all of this information comes from one of my favorite mentors, somebody that I have followed for years and years. I even brought a couple of his books. You have probably seen this. The 4-Year Career was written by Richard Bliss Brooke. The new version looks like this. And he has just helped me see things in a very professional way and in a very clear and concise way for many, many years, since I started building back in 2012, I guess. And one of the other books that you may or may not have heard of, this one doesn't get near enough airtime, is called Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. And this is an amazing book that you can kind of walk through as a workbook almost, and it helps us crystallize our visioning and just kind of get our trajectory set. So those are just a couple of the things that he has done, but he also really, really generously shares information consistently in his Facebook groups. And so the other night, I heard this information from him in the Authentic Networker group. So you may want to jot that down if that's a group that you are not currently following. The Authentic Networker is absolutely fantastic. So good morning, everybody. I see you guys hopping on. It's good to see you. So let's dive in. Okay, there are 5 steps that we're going to talk about for designing your road to success. And the first thing that I want you to think about is the time between today and the end of November, so November 30th. And what I want you to consider is the reality that the next 10 weeks, they're going to pass whether we do anything different or not, right? Can we all agree on that one? And so if we want to actually make a little more out of our fall, and if you are in this, crazy, wonderful, unbelievable network marketing profession, you know that this is like our biggest season of the year. So how can we capitalize on it and make the most of it? The answer is pretty simple. We just have to take a little bit of time right now on the front end to create a very clear, a very intentional, and a very purposeful plan, so that those 10 weeks do not slip through our fingers and we end up on December 1st going, oh man, I wish I would have done some more. I wish I would have thought that through. So this is the day to really take some time and think it through. So, ready for step number 1? Let's jump in, okay? Step number 1 is be specific and get very clear about what you want to accomplish. Okay, so step back, look at this 10 weeks that we have coming up. So I'm talking about creating a run for excitement in the next 2 months, and we're just going to call what's left of September bonus time. Okay, get started now and you'll have a little bit extra time. But let's get really specific about what we want to accomplish. So do you have a goal for your income? Do you have a goal for maybe your team volume? Do you have a goal for your team structure, or perhaps a rank goal? Whatever it is, get crystal clear on that, okay? Number 2, determine, create, and commit to your daily method of operation. Now, this is the part that's going to take a little bit of brain power, but we have an oil for that, yes? So I want you to think about what single daily action you can commit to that will absolutely impact directly your action that you stated in number 1 that you want to accomplish, your goal, okay? So if it's a, we're all working towards the same business here, but let's say that you have a goal to build the next rank. So obviously enrollments are going to be a part of that. And in order to increase enrollments, I believe it's all a numbers game. Okay, we can't guarantee what happens on the other end, but what we can guarantee is what we do. So if you want to increase your odds of enrolling more people, you just need to invite more people to take a look, right? It's all a numbers game. So perhaps one of the things that you could do is just say, I am going to reach out and invite one person per day. Okay, one person per day to take a look at Young Living, to share a sample with, to talk to about the business, whatever. But it has to be something that you control. Okay, so I am in charge of my list of friends, my prospects, my contacts, whatever. I am in charge of that. Now, there's a cool thing that I want to share with you. The idea of what happens when you condense time and activity. It's magical, okay? So how many of you, raise your hand if you're on Zoom, or give me a little emoji on Facebook, how many of you have ever packed for a vacation that you knew you were going to take for at least 2 months, but you saved your packing until, like, let's say the last 6 hours before the trip? Anybody? You guys are all like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Thank you. Lori relates to that. Cassie, you must be a planner. Is that right? Good work. Okay. But I think you can visualize what you are truly capable of doing if you only have a very limited amount of time, right? We can get a heck of a lot done in a short amount of time if we have to. So the idea here is compound your consistency and condense it, because when you do consistent activity in a period of time, you build that momentum and it is amazing. So how many of you have heard the analogy, if you take just one little penny, and you double it every day for 30 days, just for a month, okay? So I want you, if you're on Zoom, you can use the chat box. If you're on Facebook, you can use the comments. What do you guess? Maybe you've heard this one, maybe you haven't. What do you think the sum of money would be that you might have if you just took one penny on the first of the month and you doubled it every day for 30 days? What do you think you would have at the end of the month? Throw in a guess, or if you know it, that's okay too. Good job. You've been studying. I want to see if anybody else knows that. Yeah, Lori, a lot more than what you started with. You're right. You are right. Okay, so not to draw this out too long, I don't want to cut anybody short from guessing, but you guys, believe it or not, 1 penny doubled over 30 days would give you over $5.3 million. 1 penny. Okay, but here is the kicker. If you take that penny and you double it, but you only do it every other day, do you know how much you would have? $163.84. I'll throw in the cents just for kicks. $163.84. There is a huge difference in consistent daily action versus inconsistent action, even if it is every other day. So think about that when you are creating your single daily action. Discipline yourself to make sure that it remains daily, because anything that we do over and over is going to have a huge effect on our momentum, okay? So set aside some sacred time, because this is important, and important things get blocked off on our calendars so that you can have time to attend to them. And I don't know about you, but certainly for me, if I can check off the important things that I know I have to do first before I allow life to start happening to my day, I am far more likely to follow through. Okay? So as you're creating your sacred time, I love the quiet of the early morning, because nobody interrupts that. It is not socially acceptable to call anyone before 6:30 a.m. Okay? So, all right, let's move on. Number 3, in your intentional planning for this period of time, as you are designing your road for success, I want you to ask yourself, what else is going to be included in this time? What else are you going to do? And by that, I'm just going to share a couple of ideas, but this is something for you to consider, because we all know that we have to do more than one single daily action, right? So what else are you going to do? Will you do a book study? Will you focus on intentional gatherings with your team? Okay. Will you do product education on a consistent basis? Will you offer business trainings? Will you focus yourself on personal development? Will you attend a big event or two? I know we've got Diamond Bound coming up in just a couple of weekends. I know there are some other events happening. There's always events happening. And of course, at the beginning of November, one event that I want to highlight is that we have our rally on November 2nd. So hopefully everybody that cares to tune into this video, everybody should be either hosting or attending a rally somewhere. And they are not hard. If you've never done it, talk to your upline. It is very simple. Young Living makes this really easy. So think about what else you will do, okay? Number 4, you need to take some time and identify, name, and write down what and who are your obstacles. Now, this might sound kind of crazy, but when we can write them down, it's like we're calling them out. Like, I see you hiding over there in the corner. Come on out here. I'm going to tell you, obstacle, what you're going to be doing for the next 10 weeks. And it is not getting in my way. Okay? So you're bringing it into the light where it has no power. So name your obstacles. Write them down. Anticipate them. Create strategies to work around them or delete them, and really focus your attention on eliminating the distractions. Because if you can anticipate what's coming, you don't have to, it's not going to be a shocker, right? If you know that you've got a hurdle coming up in 2 weeks, you plan for it, right? Double down on your activity so that it's not going to be a big deal. Okay, number 5, you guys are doing awesome. You can send comments if you want to, if this is helpful. If you have questions, if you have other wisdom, chime in, okay? So number 5, this is the final point, and this is really, really important, okay? I want you to find a running buddy that will be your champion. Okay, I'm going to use some different terminology. Richard Bliss Brooke taught me something the other night, because for years and years, I have said, and I've heard lots of other trainers and colleagues in business and in life say, find an accountability partner. Have you heard that term? That probably sounds familiar. Well, how many of us willingly enjoy the thought of being held accountable. When I hear that term, you guys, it makes me feel like I'm being held captive. Okay, I don't want to be held anywhere except by someone that I love, right? So being held accountable does not create the same energy in my head as knowing that I have a running buddy that is my champion. So let me tell you what a champion does. Okay, they're going to talk to you daily. Okay, they are going to hold my feet to the fire. Okay, they're going to make me keep my promise. Okay, a champion, when you agree with someone else, it's like you're saying, I'm asking you to ask me if I did what I said I was going to do. Okay, you're inviting that person in to help you keep your promise to yourself, which I love. Okay, it is a partnership that is mutually agreed upon. And honestly, we just get to be each other's cheerleaders. Okay, so find that person. And I do not care if they are upline, downline, crossline, sideline, whatever. But I think you need to find somebody that you love to work with, that you trust, and that will truly be that person that says, I'm going to ask you, did you do what you said you were going to do today? Okay. So a couple of fine-tuning things with finding your running buddy and your champion is that you want to find somebody that will not excuse your failure by listening and buying into your excuses. Okay. We're all going to have stuff come up, right? Yes. But you can't be like, oh man, I know that it's hard to get a hangnail. That it makes it hard to type and hard to use the phone. I understand. Don't, take today and tomorrow off. Don't worry about that. Okay? No, that's not what you want. You want a champion that encourages you to just push a little bit further. Okay? You want people that are going to help you get back on track. And of course, you are going to be doing the same for the other person. Okay, so those are our 5 things. I'm going to recap them really quick. So 1 is to be very specific about what you want to accomplish. 2 is create your single daily action, okay, your daily method of operation. Number 3 is figure out what else during this period of time are you going to do. Number 4, name those obstacles. What are they? Who are they? Write them down, disable them, okay? And number 5, find your running buddy that is going to be your champion, okay? So those are 5 awesome tips. Thank you very much, Richard Bliss Brooke, for designing your road to success. Now, I want to leave you with this. I don't want any of us, any of you or myself, to fall into the trap of being most people, okay? Because we are called to be different. Just by virtue of being a part of this company, you have been set apart. You are different. You think a little bit differently. You probably have different things in your home. You love nature a little bit differently than most people. And what I want to encourage us all to do is to really hone in and find that unique, authentic style that is uniquely you. And do not get into the trap of becoming most people, because here is the sad truth. Most people, when they're faced with a challenge, they give up. And most people, when they make a to-do list, they don't finish it. They're lazy. Most people fail. Most people quit. So don't be most people, especially not this fall, okay? I want you to plan for your success, and I want you to figure out how to be awesome on purpose. All right? That is my message for today. I hope this has been helpful for you. Create those plans, find your running buddies, and I will see you at the finish line on November 30th, and let's have a party together. All right? Have a great weekend, everybody.